Hey, how's it going, guys? Another episode of About Ukraine. It's pretty cold right now, minus 10 degrees Celsius or 15 Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna try to do the best I can over here. In this video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about traffic police and how to behave when it comes to being pulled over in Ukraine, and a little bit about differences that exist between America and Ukraine when it comes to being pulled over. There's really nothing wrong with leaving your car when you get pulled over. In America, you could probably forget about it, but in Ukraine, if you want to get a better understanding of what the police is trying to tell you, maybe explain yourself better or get them to explain themselves better. Maybe it's more comfortable to talk to them, right, without like looking up out of your window. The cops are not really going to treat you better or worse. It's pretty much your right to get out of the car if you want to get out of the car, or you don't want to get out of the car, don't get out of the car, that kind of thing. The other thing you got to keep in mind is that you shouldn't apologize. Even if you did something wrong, you shouldn't just, jump the gun and try to apologize to them for what you're doing. For example, I drove with a foreign license plate and a foreign driver's license for a long time, and I'm still doing that right now, and it's not really an issue for anybody. You would assume that doing that is wrong, and if they do think it's wrong, then they're gonna write you up for whatever it is that you're doing. Don't be quick to go out and like trying to be like all apologetic about it, especially if you don't know how the law works around here. You should just listen to what the police officer is saying and then just go from there. You shouldn't be giving a bribe, or just shouldn't offer a bribe for any reason. Currently, the law enforcement in Ukraine is such that you can get a criminal charge out of it if you're trying to do that. If the police officer has a recorder or whatever, they can record it. It's obviously something that you don't want to have to deal with. And the number 4 thing that you shouldn't be doing is you shouldn't be agreeing with everything that the police officer is saying. I mean, sure that they may have something on you, and they may be saying like, this is that, this is wrong, this is right. You got to understand also that police officers are people too, and they make mistakes, just like anyone, and you don't have to necessarily agree with what they're saying, especially if you know that you haven't done anything wrong. Right now, it's extremely popular to have a dash cam or some sort of a recording device. If you have proof that you haven't done anything wrong, like I said, dash cams, witnesses in a car, witnesses around you, that sort of thing. If you have that, then you have nothing to worry about for the most part. The number 5 thing is that you shouldn't act aggressively around police officers. You shouldn't try to prove something to them, whatever it is that you're trying to prove to them. You shouldn't convince them of the fact that the law. Maybe you've read a bunch of articles about Ukraine and you understand what the law is. Well, the thing is, you don't want to add fuel to the fire and try to get them to run through your car with a fine-tooth comb and then determine whatever's wrong with it. They're not gonna start picking on you if you don't give them a reason to. And the number 6 point is that I think that you should remember that cops are people too, and don't be afraid to maybe act casual around them, maybe crack a joke. It's something that I think that you shouldn't feel bad about doing that. There's very obvious stuff. Is don't do things like drink and drive. Don't break traffic laws. Don't drive aggressively. Learn the basic traffic laws. They're very different from what you see in the US. You have things like roundabouts. You have things like different road signs. Like you have the orange rhombus is a strange sign for me. I had to get used to that one. This is a big one. This is very frustrating for me, at least. There are no speed limit posted all over the place, and you have to realize that I haven't seen that many speed traps with cops with radar guns. You have a lot of speed cameras, especially in Kiev, or these interstate highways where they go between the oblasts and whatnot. You might have a camera there, 1 or 2. And the thing is, the infrastructure for letting people know about it is not really developed, so you're not even going to know if you've gotten speed charge. It's pretty frustrating, especially if you're driving for maybe a few months and you've racked a bunch of them and you don't even know if you have them. You got to go to a special website to check it out, and then you got to pay it up and that sort of thing. So you got to keep an eye on that. But you can also find a map of all these cameras on the official website for Kiev, at least, so you know where they are, so you can get an idea of where they are, so you can be prepared and slow down. Another thing you have to keep in mind, especially if you live in Kiev, is that you can get your car towed away without you knowing about it. Basically, you can get it towed away for 2 reasons. The first one is if your car is being looked after. Let's say it's stolen, or if you've left the scene of an accident. Another reason why you can get towed is if you break parking law. Don't park at bus stops, don't park on the bike lane, don't park within 5 meters of the crosswalk. If you do, it's a hassle to get your car back. You're going to have to call the police, you're going to have to figure out where your car is towed to, what area. You're going to have to try to get it back and then go there, and then they're not open on the weekends, they're open during the weekdays. You're not going to get pulled over for the most part. I mean, it's extremely rare that you're going to get pulled over, but you can catch a speed camera, you can get your car towed. Basically, if you get pulled over, it's not the end of the world. Know how to behave, know what to do, realize that police officers are people too, and till next time, guys.